Hello everyone, this is Lisa with Unclutter Me. This is the second video. 10 days ago I gave a video all about the coronavirus, and that was all about preparing. And we are very much far out of that phase. In fact, it's amazing, almost fascinating to see where we have changed in just 10 days globally and as a nation. The second video is for you to think about how all of us are being affected. No matter where we are throughout the United States, the majority of us are seeing massive school closings happening. Here in Anchorage, Alaska, the kids will now be out for 3 full weeks. We had our spring break for a week, and now we are out for another 2 weeks with the possibility that that always could be extended. And this is what's happening throughout the nation. Some schools are not even planning to reopen until Monday, April 27th at best. So I'd like you to take a few moments this weekend, be it that you are a single parent, a multi-generational family, you are with your partner, your husband, your wife. I want you to sit down and I want you to do 3 things this weekend before Monday comes up. Number 1, I need you to establish a plan. Number 2, we have to build in flexibility. And number 3, we must create a meal dinner plan. So let's talk about number 1, create a plan. Some of you are going to say, I don't want a plan. I want nothing of the sorts. We're going to stay in our jammies. We're going to watch a lot of movies. We're going to make cookies. We're going to play in the backyard. And some of you are going to be very rigid and want to set up a very, very rigid school type system, where others might be in the middle of adding in some of that fun, but at the same time adding in that structure of school. None of those 3 options are poor or anything in between, but they actually all are plans. Be it that you choose to just have a great, fun, fantastic time with no rules and regulations, that's still a plan that you and your loved ones have created. Be it that you want to be very rigid, that itself is a plan. The one thing I need you to do is make sure that we communicate this to one another that are leaders within the family. That's a single parent, that's yourself making that decision. If that's multi-generational and we have grandmas and aunts and uncles and husbands and wives and partners involved, if it is just your partner, your husband and wife involved in that decision, everyone should be involved in making whatever your plan may look like. And what's most important is we have to communicate that to our children. Now, the way in which we communicate that to our children will be vastly different depending on their ages, from, of course, toddler all the way up to high school, potentially college, with the number of colleges that have shut down and universities and students that are now coming home. Take the time that once you as the leaders within that family have established the plan to communicate that appropriately by their age group to the children. One thing we know for sure is that children thrive on structure. If you are going to be one that you're going to say, we're going to live in our jammies and we're going to eat a lot of ice cream and we're going to play a lot of board games and we're not going to do anything school-wise, that is perfectly okay for your decision to make as a family, but make sure you communicate that to your children. If you're going to be very rigid and follow very much of a school type schedule, explain that to your children. For us and our family, what my husband and I have decided is we're going to try to have a school type session in the morning, but then have the afternoon be very much more of an open period. We're going to try to add into that and the fact that we're going to have wear your clothes backwards today, wear shorts, we're going to have pajama day. But we are also making sure we're communicating this to the kids so they know what to expect. Whatever your plan is, be it we're going to fly by the seat of our pants or we're going to stick to a very structured schedule, please go ahead and establish that plan with the leaders in your family, and then make sure you communicate that appropriately by their age group to the children themselves. Second of all, no matter how rigid or how completely flexible you're making the plan, we have to actually build in more flexibility. As we know, the world is changing literally, it seems, minute by minute. When we look back to 24 hours ago from just now, the information we're receiving has changed so vastly. Please build in flexibility and make sure you try to communicate that this is an uncharted water that we're all in and that we all have to have some grace with one another. Does that mean we have to focus on talking about how we respond to one another? A lot of us are going to be teleworking from home. So not only are you going to be trying to develop a very maybe unconstitutional type of fly by the seat of your pants plan, Or if you're very rigid, you're still trying to work from home. Others of us are going to have to go to work and be present physically at our job, and we don't know where our kids may be. Your plan may change daily. Your plan may be the neighbor helps out with your children. The next day it might be a family member. The next day it might be a church community that steps up and helps out. Your plan may change daily, but giving that flexibility to our children and giving yourself that grace of flexibility will allow you to communicate that much more and respond that much more to the uncertainty that no matter what your family situation is, we are all faced with. And number 3, we need to create a meal plan. Now, some of you might be rolling your eyes and thinking, nope, stop, not going to listen anymore. But if any time at all that we needed to have some consistency in our life, now would be it. Some of you did not have the chance to prepare, so you don't know exactly what you might be able to make. Try to go ahead and make a meal plan right now. Sit down this weekend and figure out what that way may be. You may not have everything, but this is where you will be much more able to communicate to your loved ones, your friends, your community, your neighbors, of what is it you are short on and what you need. Are you able to get that at the grocery store, or is this something that we are going to need to borrow and come together as a community to make happen? Go through, look at your pantry, look at your freezer, your refrigerator, and establish a plan. We are all very heightened in stress, anxiety, and now we're having to figure out how our everyday life is going to look in a situation that none of us expected. Having to add on, what am I making for dinner, is just something that none of us need to put onto our plates. So look at what you have in your freezer, fridge, pantry, come up with that meal plan, figure out where you may need help from the community, and or if you are able to get to the store and potentially have success in finding it. These are things I think that will help us get through this. Again, there is no right or wrong to this. So remember, create a plan, be it that it is extremely flexible in that plan to no rigidity at all, to a plan that may be extremely rigid. Make a plan with those that are the leaders in your home. Number 2, remember to add in that flexibility because we're going to need it. This is going to be ever changing and move even more. We may see even longer school closures to come. We may not. And we need to be prepared for the fact that changes may come. And number 3, make a meal plan. Try to do so every single week with what you have available. And if you don't have those things available, this will allow you to communicate so much more to your own community, to the other resources that are available, or if you are able to get to the grocery store, you can get them. You can do this. We are in uncharted waters. We are here to help. Refresh, renew, live simply.